Researchers, including student researchers, are expected to produce good quality research that is reflected in their research reports and research theses. What is good quality research and what are some of the characteristics of good quality research? These are the questions that we will respond to in this discussion. So, good quality research, we have certain characteristics that we can associate with the various sections or parts of good quality research. So generally research begins with a research topic or a research subject or issue. So good quality research is based on an interesting, useful, and generally innovative new idea or new topic or subject. This does not actually mean that everyone has to come up with some revolutionary idea or some revolutionary topic. But because research is actually genuine, comes out of our genuine interest in different fields of the research or in academic fields. So that is why the first indication of good quality research is that the topic that we have selected is an interesting one. It revolves around generally a new area inside our field of choice in which we are actually doing our research. We are not going, the quality researcher is not going to reinvent the wheel. So they have to come up with an idea that is interesting and that is new and that has theoretical and practical importance. So that is something that is very important. Once the topic is selected, the next thing that aids to the quality of research is actually good quality research questions, clear research questions, and in many cases clear research hypotheses. Generally, in social sciences, research questions are associated generally with exploratory, qualitative type of researches with inductive approaches, and hypotheses are generally associated with confirmatory studies that are generally based on experimentations, and they generally belong to the quantitative field of type of research in social sciences. But in any case, whether we have research questions or hypotheses or a combination of these, the research questions should be clear and precise. Similarly, the hypotheses should be clear and precise. And most importantly, the research questions and hypotheses should be in the focus of the research topic. These should be reflecting the research hypotheses. The next important thing that will make the quality of our research good is the clarity and precision of our research objectives. So generally, I personally think that research objectives should be in response to our research questions and research hypotheses. In other words, our research objectives are actually to find answers, authentic answers to our questions and to respond to our hypotheses. So clarity of the research objectives will play their role in actually improving, adding to the quality of the research process. Next, we need to have clear boundaries or delimitations of our research. Generally, research is a focused process of inquiry, and so we cannot move in all directions, or we cannot actually explore all aspects of the research topics. So we need to have delimitations or set boundaries around our research topic, both theoretical boundaries and practical boundaries And so we need to have clear boundaries in order to have good quality research. The next thing that makes our research good quality research, is that our research should have clear rationale. That actually means that we should clearly establish the need for conducting this research that we are conducting. And so, besides the establishing the academic need for conducting this research, we also need to be clearly presenting the importance of exploring the issue that we are exploring. In other words, the significance of the research should be clearly presented in the research report. And research that has good rationale and good presentation of the significance or importance or value of the research that we are conducting will be considered as good quality research. Further, good quality research will be research that comes up on the basis of strong critical literature review that gives sound background to the topic that we are actually exploring. And towards the end of this literature review or background study, we need to establish and we need to critically analyze a gap that we are going to fill through this particular research. So gap analysis, or critically evaluating the importance of filling the gap or adding to the existing knowledge in the area in which we are actually conducting this research, is also an important quality of good quality research. The next thing is robust methodology. So once we have clearly presented our topic and we have integrated our research questions and hypotheses or research objectives, we have set boundaries around our research, we have clearly presented the rationale or the need for conducting the study and the value or importance of the study. And once we have clearly established the gap that we need to fill through our research study, the next thing is the how of the research. That is, how are we going, or how have we actually conducted the research. So we need to clearly present the research methodology in detail. So robust research methodology, the presentation of robust research methodology is very important. Now, what is that? We need to clearly present and justify the particular paradigm of research in which we are working, such as we are working in using the positivist paradigm or the interpretivist paradigm of research, or the pragmatist research paradigm. We also need to have in our research methodology clear rationale for our research design, and this will also need to have further details related to the particular research methodology that we have used, such as case study or qualitative research or quantitative research methods, or experimental research methods or mixed methods of research. Whatever research methodology we use, we need to have rationale for that and justification for that. We need to have clearly presented our research population and sample, and we need to have clearly justified the sample that we have taken or that we are going to take if we are at the proposal stage. Besides the population and sample, we also need to clearly present and rationalize the data collection methods and the data analysis methods. So whatever data collection methods we are using, whatever data analysis methods we are using, those should be clearly presented and justified in the light of our research objectives and research questions. We also need to have clearly and in detail presented the research site or the background of the research, in which the background or the space in which the research has actually taken place. Besides this, we also need to clearly present the validity and reliability issues. How have we validated, or how are we going to validate the data collection process, the data analysis process, and also we need to have clearly presented ethical considerations of our research. That is, we need to have clearly presented whether we have followed ethical considerations so that we can make the process of research authentic and honest. So these are important considerations that make the methodology section a robust section and a strong section, and that adds to the quality of research. Besides, the findings section need to be integrated with our research questions and objectives. The findings section also need to have our analysis involved in the findings section. So we are not just presenting our findings in a descriptive way. In quality research, we have to present our findings, and our presentation of findings should be based on critical analysis and in-depth analysis of the findings that we get through our research. Good quality research also need to have conclusions and implications that are based on the findings. So they are not some kind of general conclusions or general implications. The conclusions and implications section of good quality research will be strictly based on the findings and the contextual analysis of those findings. The next thing is that generally in weak researches, what happens is that researchers generally present their recommendations in a very generic way. So good quality research is research where the recommendations of the research or suggestions that actually come out of the findings and the conclusions of the research. So we need to clearly establish that the recommendations that we are making are actually on the basis of the findings and conclusions of our research. Besides this, good quality research also have a section where there is acknowledgement of possible limitations or possible weaknesses or challenges of the research, so that the reader can have an understanding in terms of whether to generalize the findings of this research to their particular context or not. And the next important thing is that good quality research reports generally have good use of good and correct academic language. So many research studies that we see in research report forms, they lack the use of good quality academic language, and that actually in some ways diminishes the value of those researches. So it is important that the language, that the format of the research that has been produced is good quality, and it is written in academically acceptable language and in academically acceptable format. Besides, we should have adequate referencing, and there should be overall organization of the research report and the research process as well, where we can actually see an organization running through beginning right from the topic towards the very end of the research, that is in the form of conclusions and implications and recommendations. So generally, good quality research studies are studies that are well organized, and so the reader can see, or the evaluator can see, an overall organization connection throughout the research process and the research product.